This is the Lyndsay Stafford Show.
All right, welcome back to the Lyndsay Stafford Show. I'm super excited to have my friend Christopher McClintock here today. He is unlike any entrepreneur we've had on the show for a lot of reasons. I'm not going to spoil it, but keep listening because he's accomplished some things that I don't know anybody else that's done some of these things that you've done, Chris.
You haven't met enough people then.
No, I'm going to guess that my listeners will say the same thing. And what I love about this episode is we're going to hit on a lot of different topics, but one of his favorite is culture. And it's a big part of why he's been so successful. So we are definitely going to hit on culture and building a culture that drives retention and success and top level of execution. So I have the honor and privilege of knowing Christopher for about 3 years at this point. And I went to your ribbon cutting in Cool Springs or Brentwood. Sorry. Yeah. It was Brentwood. But you've grown so much since then. And so I can tell you his character shows up in his business. And if you are interested in entrepreneurship or business, this is going to be a great episode for you to hear some foundational things about how do you grow a business successfully and scale a business successfully. Because I'll let him give his introduction. But Christopher, thank you for being here.
Thank you. And I think all the same things can be said about you. I mean, what you do and your business is, your personality really shows through that. So thanks for having me on today.
Thank you. I think we're just authentic.
I mean, just the Mutual Admiration Society here, right?
Mm-hmm. As I sip my, what's it called? Bravenly Rush. My best friend Christy sells this, so I support that. But it's great. So tell us a little bit about you. What's your background?
Originally from Ohio.
Where?
I am Northern Ohio, just about an hour north of Columbus.
Oh, I was born in Columbus.
You were born in Columbus?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Okay. I'm glad we're doing this. Yeah. About an hour north, there's a town called Mansfield. That's not where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
There's a town next to it with one stoplight. And when I was there was probably about 2,000 people in my hometown. My high school had 300. And I bet there was about 8 Chris's in my graduating class of 90.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I started going by Christopher. I just had to distinguish myself a little bit back then. But my parents were school teachers. So I grew up in a small town, and there were about 3 factories there that kind of supported the town and the surrounding cities. They're not all there anymore. So the town has dwindled.
Wow.
But took a lot of inspiration from my mom that when she retired from teaching, she started flipping houses. Okay. And you could buy a home in my little hometown, a HUD house or something for $20,000, $30,000, put some money into it, sell it for $70,000. And that's what she did for about a decade after that. Wow. She's always been a hustler. She sold Color Me Beautiful. Back in the day, she sold makeup. Direct sales, she did all that. She always had a side hustle. And I think that's kind of where I got that from.
So she had the entrepreneurial spirit. That's where you grabbed it.
She did. And then my dad, probably the smartest person I've ever known, just trying to keep up with him. I actually beat them in Scrabble last year for the first time ever. So I made my own.
2 teachers?
Oh, I know. And they play every night too. So I made myself a certificate suitable for framing That's
amazing. You need a trophy.
I do. But no, that's where I'm from. I went to Kent State in Ohio. Both of my parents went to Kent State. They were there in 1970 when the whole shooting happened.
Wow.
So they have an amazing story about that. And a lot of my relatives went to Kent State. So growing up, they said, guess where you're going to go to college? But that being said, I loved it. I loved my time there and got my degree in exercise science there, and graduated in 2000, closed my eyes, pointed to a map, pointed to Nashville, and here I came.
It wasn't for music?
No, it wasn't for music. I think I'm the only one. I can't carry a tune in a bucket.
Yeah.
But I got here and just thought I'd spend a year here, then maybe Portland, Oregon, and Portland, Maine, and Denver, and Florida. And 25 years later, I'm still here. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I've got 2 kids, a 20-year-old and a 15-year-old, and I've raised them here, and I love it. And watching Nashville grow, it's been a great spot to own a couple businesses and grow those.
Yeah. You do a great job. I'm curious, you touched on, so I was born in Ohio, born in Columbus, grew up in Columbus and then Cincinnati.
Okay.
Moved to Illinois my sixth grade, right before my fifth grade year.
Okay.
And then moved to New England after my freshman year of high school.
Oh, interesting.
So then the rest of my kind of college and everything was in New England. And then we made our way down the coast. Here we are in Tennessee. But that Midwest kind of culture and foundation, I think, establishes some really strong roots and really strong, the culture being something that's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot of that comes from that Midwest homegrown kind of small town atmosphere that I think it's harder to get that in a bigger town like where we are now. And
I would agree with that. Growing up, I everybody.
Yeah.
You went K through 12 with everybody. And then, my now my hometown, I think there's only 400 or 500 K through 12.
Wow.
I mean, it's small, but you grow up and you know everybody and you look them in the eye and you talk to them. And, when I went to Kent State with 25,000 on campus, I thought it was so weird that people didn't look at each other, that you don't talk or say hi to everybody. And that's just kind of my personality is, this, I'm a talker. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to talk with people, but I do think that is the culture, is that you've never met a stranger. Yeah. And somebody always has something, a great story or something good to offer.
Yeah. That you could always pull from somebody. So you've been in Nashville now. You talk about a little bit about your business and entrepreneurship and share with listeners that.
Yeah. In 2003, I was working at a gym. I'd helped a gentleman start a gym actually in 2002. And I didn't have two pennies to rub together. I was young but I had ambition. And I told him I don't have any money to invest, but I'll be your employee till the end. Well, he came in about 18 months later and said, I'm shutting it down. And at the time I was in a BNI and I was training my CPA and also a business coach. And she told me, she said, Christopher, you could totally run your own business. I'll show you how. So a 1 hour meeting with her and a 1 hour meeting with my CPA, who's still my CPA. Nice. 23 years later. They showed me how to run a successful business and my gym is still here 23 years later.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that was kind of my journey and I loved it. I loved owning a business. I loved what I did on a 1 to 10 scale. Going in at 5 a.m. and staying till 8 p.m. was a 10 every day. I loved it. And then one thing I always wanted to do was my dad was always at my baseball games, my basketball games, my cross country meets. And a lot of times he was the only visitor sitting in the away stands. Wow. I want to do that for my kids. Mm-hmm. So I thought owning my own business would be the best way that I could do that, kind of control my destiny a little bit. Now we know from owning our own business, are we really in charge? Right. But yeah, there's, they allowed me opportunities to be at my son's lacrosse matches mm-hmm. and, my daughter's bowling and all her stuff too. So, that's the lifestyle that I get right now. And only a few more years left. I know. As they're growing up. Yeah. You're in that same boat.
Yeah. I think our kids are similar ages. Mine are 18 and almost 16. So, yours are a little bit older, or your oldest is a little bit older, but does he play lacrosse at school?
He did a couple years in high school, then went to Montana State. Okay. And made the team and won a national championship. Wow. Last year. Amazing. So, for Montana State.
That's
University.
Incredible.
So yeah, it's one of his first loves.
Oh, that's so cool. So my daughter's boyfriend plays lacrosse. Okay. We love him like he's our third kid. Yeah. And he's going to Lincoln Memorial to play lacrosse. Okay. So I'm sure we'll be traveling to East Tennessee. Yeah. To see some of those games. But lacrosse is really kind of a New England sport. At least it was when we were there, it's much bigger in New England than it is in this area.
I can see that. But that was kind of my journey into owning my own business. And then over the years, while I loved my gym and I loved all of that and loved the clients and I think one of the things I'm most proud of in life was the culture that was there. Other than my two kids, I mean, this culture, anybody could walk in no matter where they were in their journey and feel comfortable at this gym.
That's hard to create.
Yeah. I was in the weight loss surgery community for a long time. So someone that was 400 and 500 pounds could come in and feel comfortable working next to somebody who's training for Ironman. Yeah. And they would encourage each other and become friends and really look forward to each other's successes And that was the culture.
I love that.
Every trainer knew every client knew every client. It was just a great place to be.
And you still have that business.
I do have a great general manager that runs that for me now. And 3 years ago, I bought into Comfort Keepers. I have a great general manager that also runs that. So I just try to stay out of their way and let them do their thing.
Let them do what they do. We both value time tremendously and time with our kids.
Sure.
I think we have that in common. That's really what drives me, is that time, flexibility, and freedom to be able to be where I want to be when I want to be there. And I think it's always about the family. So talk a little bit about Comfort Keepers, because you went from your first one you purchased 3 years ago, the first territory.
That's right.
Can you talk a little bit about the growth there?
Yeah, I got into that because at the time I was selling commercial real estate. And with commercial real estate, you see a lot of businesses for sale. And it's something I'd never done before. And I have a dad speech that I give my kids. And it's, when you come out of the womb, you don't know anything. Everything you know, you've learned. So you want to learn something new? Start today. You're going to stink at it, but you're going to get in the reps and you're going to get better. And I found this new business for sale. It was home health care. And I heard a couple really inspiring stories about it. So I met the owner, met the team, became really inspired by it. The owner had it for almost 15 years, was just ready to retire.
Yeah.
And he had a couple of offers on the table and he chose me. So I was very blessed with that. And then, that's when I first bought into Comfort Keepers. And it was just the franchise here in Middle Tennessee. There were 4 territories and he had all 4 of those. Then about a year later, we had one of our best salespeople had a heart to go home back to Chattanooga. So the short story is I told her she could move, but she couldn't quit. We were going to open a Chattanooga location. At that time, there wasn't a location in Chattanooga. So that's been a little over 2 years now, and she's really grown something down there, and we can support her from here. We learned to do a lot remote.
Yeah.
And then there was this really cool inflection in the market that our venture capital company was selling Comfort Keepers as a whole.
Oh.
And the new buyers came in and they were going to get rid of all the corporate owned territories. So then they gave us franchisees first dibs on these. So, and I'd always hoped that if Knoxville ever came available, that I would at least have a shot at it. So I put together a 23-page PowerPoint presentation and, really sold it. And they called me back 1 minute later after my presentation and says, it's yours.
Amazing.
So they had a team there and they already had some business and some clients and all that. So our team, we drove there on closing day and we spent a couple days in Knoxville, bringing that team up to speed. And it was really exciting.
That's incredible. So you're in 3 years, how many locations do you have now?
We now have, this past June, we opened a brick and mortar location in Cookeville as well. I bought that territory. Before in Tennessee, it looked like I owned kind of a donut. I was missing that centerpiece.
Yeah.
And then Crossville, Cookeville, Tennessee became available and I bought that. So now I own kind of all of Middle Tennessee.
Nice.
So we have 4 brick and mortar locations and that's 8 territories total.
Wow. So that's quite the journey. And that can be overwhelming for somebody to think about the workload that goes into that, much less creating a culture. So I want to start with culture because that's really what's important to you. Talk about your strategy for creating a culture that reflects your core values and generates great business.
Yeah, I try to separate the things I can control and the things that I can't. And I have my 5 values on the wall in our offices. And on the spot, I hope I can remember them all. But the one that's most important, I believe, is we always say yes. We look for ways to say yes, and then we set expectations. So how can we gain this business? How can we grow? How can we do things that are better than what the industry might, the standard might be. So if a new client comes in and they're just down the street, can you take this client? Yes, we can. We can probably start in 48 hours.
Yeah.
If somebody's way out of town and they're rural, can you take this client? Yes, we can take this client. We can start in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we just look for ways to say yes. And that's really kind of the culture is, we don't want to shut down any business. We want to find a way to make it happen.
Yeah. And I think it also, from what I know about you, it goes back to the desire to serve and to really care for the patients, the clients that you have. It's not necessarily about the bottom line of the business. Obviously, that's important as a business owner. But I think what stands out in my mind about you and how you treat your team and your business is it's the heart to serve and care. And you can hear it come out in the things you're talking about, even with your culture at the gym and making people feel valued and everybody's included and everyone should feel good. And I think this is a really challenging space to be in because people are depending on a stranger to start with to care for them.
True. Yeah. It's, I think part of the big awakening for me was, I never really had a 24/7 business before. And when you think until you're in it. And then when, you do get a call at 6 o'clock on a Sunday that this needs taken care of now. But I really have a great team that they really take care of things a lot of times before it ever gets to me. They really have, they've been empowered to make decisions. I would rather them make a decision and tell me about it later than be sitting in indecision city and nothing gets done.
Right.
We can always evaluate later whether that was the right or wrong decision. But my team has been in this long enough that they kind of know what to do. Yeah.
You've trained them. I'm going to pull up because I have some questions prepared for you. So I'm going to pull these up.
Okay.
I want to shift gears for a second.
Okay.
We'll probably make our way back to culture, but I want to talk a little bit about success because anyone who's listening to this can hear the threads in this conversation of your Ohio roots and core values and integrity coming out in how you lead your business. But there's also a drive that's happened for you to be so ambitious to do what you're doing. And you're the only person I know that's completed over 80 marathons or triathlons. First of all, I think you're nuts.
Thank you. That's what I was going for.
Great. You achieved that. And you've raised funds for Alzheimer's, ALS. How has that endurance mindset come into play with your business?
Yeah, really. It's a cliche. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You learn to endure and, things aren't always as bad as they might seem.
Mm-hmm.
Things aren't always as great as they might seem. There's a phrase in the marathon where you hit the wall sometimes. And I'm nerdy enough in exercise science to know why our body does that. But it's way more mental than it is physical.
Yeah.
But you do enough of them and you realize you feel better down the road.
Mm-hmm.
You do get over that. And, you think, oh, it's going to be okay. And then you think you do enough of these and you're like, I know in 2 or 3 days, I'm going to feel fine.
Yeah.
I could quit now because I'm just uncomfortable right now, but boy, it's going to 2 or 3 days. I'm going to be sitting on the couch being like, I'm fine. Why didn't I finish that?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of learned that kind of mentality through endurance sports. And I think that's carried over into everything that you just develop like callous or resistance or getting used to being uncomfortable. And you realize it's not so bad.
Pain is temporary.
It really is.
Yeah.
One of the guys I love to follow, David Goggins, he says, when you feel like you're at your limit, you're probably really only 40% there. The bells and whistles and alarms start to go off. And then once you do it enough times, you realize you can do way more than what you possibly think you can.
Man, if every entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur could take that mindset, because what we're talking about is that valley of despair when you're going through the emotional cycle of change or any kind of change or new challenge, you fall into that valley of despair where it feels overwhelming. And it's like, it's easier to just go back to what I was doing before.
Sure.
But really, when you get to the other side, there's so much to celebrate. And that's how you build confidence and competence through going through those things.
Right.
Right. And so I love how you've been able to apply that to business and be able to push through those hard times. So, so you are founder of a fitness studio.
Correct.
So what key lessons from those days do you still lean on and apply in senior care?
Oh, that's a great question.
Every once in a while we have one.
Yeah. I mean, we've covered culture. And when I went into a new industry, I knew that I did it there. I can do that here, in any business. The culture can be, can be managed. What I found in all those years of, I was doing personal training and running the business and sometimes cleaning toilets and sometimes out speaking and doing the marketing and doing all that. And I learned that I could outwork a lot of people. And I knew I got into this, that I could work hard enough, and have better strategies. Now I've thrown enough stuff against the wall to see what sticks and what doesn't. And what I loved over all those years, I loved my clients. I loved the gym. What I loved even more is running a business. And so I thought, can I do this at a larger scale? And just wanted to challenge myself. So those were some of the things that I brought over.
Yeah. I love all of that. I want to talk a little bit about business growth and strategy, because culture starts with the owner, the foundation, but then it's about people. So you probably hear it all the time. I hear it all the time. Can't find good people. It's hard to find good people. So you and I both know that's not true.
Sure.
It's a matter of how you source your people, how you attract people. Talk a little bit about how you've been able to form such strong teams.
Well, I've got to be completely transparent on this. I am horrible at hiring and firing, which is why I have general managers now, because I think everybody's amazing. Everyone can do it, and if somebody isn't cutting it, it's because I got an extremely long fuse. If somebody's not cutting it, it's because I haven't spent enough time with them.
That's what you think.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
If they're not cutting it, it is because I haven't given them the right tools yet. Yeah. If they're not cutting. So now 6, 9, 12 months have gone by. I brought in my general manager for my gym. He could tell me in 2 weeks whether someone's going to make it or not, and I was like, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're not going to make it. I'm going to let them go tomorrow, but I've got these other 2 on queue. And he's really built it into what it is today. And so I knew I took that over to Comfort Keepers as well. We have an HR manager and my general manager. And once someone has made it through them, then I'll meet them.
Yeah.
And if they feel good about the person and I talk to them, and then on the front end, we talk about culture before they're ever an employee. These are the expectations. This is what we're going to do. And it's going to repel some people, or some are going to say, yeah, I'm down with that. So expectations are set on the front end. I just was talking to a business coach the other day about like disc profiles and all that. And I know you have a lot of people working for you. Have you tried any of that? Yeah.
So I've done a lot of them in the past. We're actually looking at another one to do next month, because we'll do our 2-day retreat next month.
Tell me some of your feedback about that. Has that helped?
I think any of those personality profiles help. They're all different, right? I think DISC tells you one thing. I've used Strength Finders. I love Strength Finders because I really like to focus on where people are strong and then how do we fit a team. Or, I think Strength Finders is probably the one that I've used the most. We recently did a new one by the Table Group, which is Pat Lencioni, who's based out of Franklin. Okay. And that was, what was that called? It is... Oh man, I'm going to look it up because I think it's worth saying. So hang on a second. Let me find it. It is Working Genius Assessment. And that one I think was pretty short, but effective. And I think it's more about what do you do with the information when you take those quizzes,
exactly.
Right?
So that's the key is, now do we put it into Chat GPT and let them, decide where, if these people are in the right seat, are they doing what we need them to be doing? Then what do you do with that information?
Yeah.
Have you ever made changes in your business due to information that?
No, but one of the things I think I'm really good at is identifying talent and understanding people where you're saying that's not your strength.
It's not.
And so what I love about what you're saying is that that's not your strength. And so you're not going to try to take it on. You're just going to hire someone to do it. And that is the smartest thing you can do. There are a lot of things that I'm really terrible at that I'm not going to be good at.
Name one.
Oh, there's a lot. Like, seriously, saying no. Like I care. My director of operations has to run my calendar because I will add things to it. And she'll be like, "What? You can't do that.
Yeah.
Like you don't have space for that. When are you going to do that?"
I say I have helium hand syndrome. I'm just forever like, I'll do that too.
So now, you'll probably hear me even like at BNI or whatever. I'll say, just email me and Carrie will take care of it because I get in trouble. Things that I'm not good. Maybe that I'm not good at. I think as a business owner, you need to know each process and step enough. You need to know enough to be dangerous. You need to know enough to understand what right looks like because you always have to inspect what you expect. And so even the stuff I'm not good at, I still need to know how it works. I still need to understand it. And man, it's painful for me sometimes to slow down and understand processes and systems.
Sure.
Probably the thing that I'm really, really, really not good at is slowing down to read through things. I'm terrible at it. I can do it, but I do not like it. I have to be extremely disciplined. It's part of the reason I have my director of operations, who's also served as my assistant for the past 7 years, to manage me and say, okay, you haven't done this, so I'm going to read it to you and we're going to go through it together. Like, that's what works because it'll sit on we use Jira. I don't know if you guys we use Jira for just task list.
Okay.
And she'll be like, Lyndsay, it's been on there. Like, it's Friday. This has to get done. So I'm calling you and we're going to go through this. Right. So I think it's always important to know what you're not good at and what you're good at. But when it comes to any of those personality profiles, honestly, I think you can usually sense somebody's strengths and opportunities by spending time with them.
Sure.
But I think they can save you some time as you're hiring. And that's probably the most effective place, I think, to use them is to say, this role is going to require these skills. Does this person's assessment show me that they possess those skills or not? And I think they can be very helpful for that. So I think that's a good tool to speed things up.
So you'll spend the money and do that on the front end before ever hiring.
Yes, I would say that that's probably the best way, I think, to use that.
Okay.
I rely a lot on my intuition with people. Sometimes that's great. Sometimes it's not, but we have a pretty good vetting process.
Okay.
And I have a great director of operations and a great director of client operations. And I leverage both of them as we bring on people. I think one thing that's a little bit different that we do is if I have somebody great, so let's just, for example, my director of client operations was also overseeing client marketing services and processes. And, we got a few months in together and she's like, I hate it. I don't want to do that part. And I'm like, perfect. Let's hire somebody else to do that. Great. Yeah. This is what I can see what you're excellent at. So let's only have you do that. And you can do this, but it's not your strength zone. So let's find somebody else to do that.
Well, and kudos to you for even having a culture they could talk to you.
Oh yeah. You have
about
to.
that,
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable in this rather than just, this is what I'm here for. So I'm just going to grind away on something I don't enjoy and I'm not good at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's great.
I want to hire people and have them stay with me forever. And so that's the culture that I try to create is like, what do you guys want from me? What matters to you? What's most important to you? I have, some people will say, I just want bonuses. I want extra money. Some people, I want more time off. And some people it's recognition and bonuses and gift cards never hurt anyone.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to know what drives each individual so you can feed them. It's kind of like the love languages.
Yeah.
What matters to you? I have, 100%. Like I said, my director of client operations just wants time off. Like that's what she values most is her time. And so that's what I try to be most respectful, for her. And each person is different, but I think you have to get to know them and understand their strengths and opportunities. But yeah, profiles, I think they can be great, but it's just another report card. So it's a matter of like,
I do love data points and KPIs and all that.
Yes,
so this is going to be, I think I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to do
this.
it?
Yeah. I bought them the other day.
Cool.
I've got to distribute them to my,
nice.
to my team. But yeah, have you always worked for yourself or have you worked for others?
I spent 20 years in corporate.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. So
I only know Lyndsay
as
the
what
entrepreneur.
I do now.
Yeah.
No, I spent 20 years in corporate.
Okay.
Right out of college, I went into retail, and I spent quite a bit of time in the retail space, about 20 years.
Okay.
First, I was a fitting room associate when I was in college, just see if I liked it, and I always thought I wanted to be in retail forever. My dad was in retail. Thought I wanted to be a merchant or a buyer, ended up on store side. I loved the interactions. Actually, I loved helping women. I would help men too, but I was at Express when I was 20.
Okay. I did my time at American Eagle, and you remember Gadzooks?
Oh, Gadzooks.
Back in the day? Yeah.
That's like a hot topic.
Yeah, I think, that's the old hot topic. Before everything got dark, it was Gadzooks. It was shiny.
Gadzooks.
So
I did spend 2 years with Eagle and Aerie. Yeah, I oversaw Tennessee. That was my last retail position. Was the DM.
Were we working there?
No. This was recent. Like within the last 10 years, I was there.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting. Okay.
No, I oversaw the Tennessee market for Eagle and then the Eagle Aerie stores. So yeah, that was I spent a long time in retail, multi-unit leadership. So I kind of was all over. And then I just, for so many reasons, decided it was time to. I had built some stuff on the side while I was doing that, enough that I could, walk away and do my own thing.
I, for the longest time, thought everyone was like me. That why would you work? I mean, I've been working for myself.
Yeah, why would you work for someone else?
Almost 25 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you work? Everyone's going to leave and start their own business. Of course they are. Because that's what I would do if I was them. Why aren't it wasn't only until like the last few years, like, oh, a lot of people, they just want, a solid place to work. Yeah. Where they can come, have a great experience, a good place to work, and then go to their family and, that and they want their, you know what? Sometimes people don't think like I do, Lyndsay.
It's kind of weird because now that I'm in that, and I honestly out of college, like when I was so my best friend, Christy, who I just talked about, I buy this Bravenly stuff from, which I love it. It's all natural green tea and whatever. Yummy. I don't know. I just buy all the stuff because it's good. I wanted to just go into direct sales and start my own business at 18. Mm-hmm. And my parents were like, yeah, that's funny. No, you're going to college. Yeah. Now I didn't grow up in an entrepreneurial family. My dad worked a job, a job. And I always laugh when I say that because my son is like, Mom, why do you say a job? I'm like, I don't know. I just do. But my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And so starting my own thing was like, what are you doing? That's risky. That's scary.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you do that? And it is interesting when you think about, because I feel like you do, like I would not want to report to somebody else again. Right. But there are a lot of people that find that comfortable and satisfying and they want to serve. And, I had this conversation with my sister who was on she'll be up next week's edition. Well, I guess by the time this airs, it'll have been gone. But she would not want to be a number one. She is very happy being a great number two. And she'll say that. And she's excellent. She's extremely talented. And I would love to, she's an asset to anyone that has her on their team. She's extremely intelligent and smart and capable and just really good at what she does. And there are people that really would want to be serving somebody else in that capacity. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel very blessed that I get to do this at the same time. I love coaching. I love having a coach. I love accountability. But Michael Jordan, till the day he retired, he had a coach, greatest of all time. Tiger Woods, until he had a coach up until he retired. So it's nice to have that outside perspective. And one thing that I've really enjoyed as a difference between bootstrapping your own business and a franchise is we have what we call in ours is a PMG, Performance Management Group. There's a group of us, Comfort Keepers owners, to get together quarterly. Oh, cool. And we share our KPIs and our numbers and how we're doing. And I just love it. our group, everybody some are doing, 4 times the business I am. Some are doing half the business I am. And it's just cool to see what others are doing. You don't feel like you're on an island. You have similar problems and you can bounce ideas off of one another. Owning my gym by myself for all those years, I just felt like, a lone reed standing tall in the winds of commerce, just being blown everywhere, not just kind of trying to figure it out, and this has been, they call a franchise a business in a box. I've really enjoyed that part of it. We were talking, beforehand about how some franchises, especially new ones, really try to micromanage every little thing. Remember our friend Todd with Blingle?
Oh yeah.
There for a little bit. They were much more involved than my franchise is. And my franchise is there if I can call them, when I need them today, and they'll respond and, give me the help I need, or they stay out of my business.
Yeah.
They'll let you kind of choose your own adventure with that. And I've always appreciated that.
Yeah, that's great. It makes it a little bit easier to keep running and doing what you're doing. All right. Before we wrap up, I have a couple more questions and I won't keep it too much longer. I knew we wouldn't get to everything that I wanted to get through here, but we're going to get through.
I'm not far from here. I'll come back.
Yeah, you will come back. We've started, I've been doing this we've been recording now for 13 months, I think. And we've had a couple of repeat guests. I would love to have you come back. Actually, one today was a repeat. So if someone's considering entering the home care franchise space, what's the top 3 pieces of advice you'd give them? Wait, can I guess?
Oh, yeah.
Can I guess? One's going to be about culture.
Okay.
About creating culture.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Sure.
Okay, I don't know the other 2. That's all.
Yeah. I would suggest you have some business background and you got to be thick-skinned. It is so uber competitive. Here, I know just in Middle Tennessee, I have over 150 competitors.
Wow.
Here and that's not even just the little independents, and the families who just hired the lady from church, to watch them, so it is uber competitive, highly regulated as well. And, an industry that's actually in a big change right now.
Oh, really?
So yeah, in terms of, onboarding, like, the industry, we're seeing like third-party payer is the way to go right now. Private pay is great, but across the country, that is, all the data is out there that people haven't saved like they have in the past 10 years, which is kind of funny. You mentioned, starting your own business. My grandfather was like, well, who's going to pay your pension? Yeah. What are you going to do about retirement? It's like, I'm going to pay my own grandpa. I just couldn't wrap his head around it. Yeah. But people just haven't saved like they are and are really relying on third-party payers moving forward. Yeah. So it would be about where are those payer sources going to come from? And there's some out there and some that are still emerging right now. So that's kind of where the industry is nowadays. So just have a thick skin, have a great culture. And I mean, when we went into green space in Chattanooga, where there was no presence, I mean, it took 6 months before it made our first dollar. Yeah. Of the marketing and the hustle. And that's with a salesperson who was seasoned and really good. Wow. So patience, grit, tenacity. You got to be endurance. Able to just, endurance. You got to have that endurance. It's all those marathons and triathlons. That's right. Do they have to, is that a requirement to own a Comfort Keeper? You have to do at least 80 and then, okay. No. So let's look ahead. 5 to 10 years, where do you see Comfort Keepers for you? For me, this was definitely a 10 to 15 year plan that I got into. Again, I knew I wanted the long game on this and continuing to grow it. I've got some goals for our main KPI is hours per week. Okay. So our whole team knows where we're trying to get to. Our whole team comes up with the goals. We hit it and we all sit around and figure out a new goal. So, I just hope to be with this company a long time and continuing to grow and helping I love that this was a part of you get to help your community at the same time, you know, get to feed your family at the same time, you know? So yeah, this is definitely a long game. So where am I in 10 to 15 years? I'm still doing this. I might have one or two other businesses on the side, but I'll have good general managers running those too.
This is the best when you can just start a business, staff it with amazing people, oversee it, but then go start another thing. And for me, I think, how awesome is it that I get to impact that many people by leveraging other people's strengths?
Absolutely.
It's such a cool thing. Like, you've got this gym that you built that's employing a lot of people, providing a lot of people happiness and fulfillment in their life, and probably facilitating a lot of relationships. And you'll never really ever know the impact of that facility that you built and the culture you built there. But you built it to a place where then you're still involved in it. But, you know, it's a couple hours a week maybe of communication, I imagine. I don't know, but I'm guessing communication with your GM and goal setting quarterly and maybe monthly or whatever.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, it's a couple hours a week. Is that?
It is.
fair?
Yeah. It's still, I walk in, it's one of my happy places.
Yeah.
I can walk in, I can know everybody. 11, almost 12 years ago, we started a bourbon club there, and it's still there every Friday.
Cool.
So I pop in on Fridays and, you know, say hello, and we toast the weekend. And, but it's really become my peer group, my best friends, one of my best business mentors. You know, I've met him through that. He's been with us, I'll get this wrong, but I think 17 years.
Wow.
You know, I've had clients that have been with us all 23 years. You know, somebody knows after a time or two how to do dumbbell curls.
Yeah.
Right. Why would someone stick with the gym or a place for 23 years? You know, it's culture and relationships.
Yeah. It's the atmosphere. But what a cool thing that you can do that and give a small amount of your resources to that, and then go build something else. And I imagine you're making profit from one business. It allows you to go do that again. And that's how we generate this incredible impact and legacy in the short life that we have here.
That's what I'm hoping to do.
Yeah.
Create some legacy for my kids and their kids.
Love it.
So
maybe you should open a bowling alley next. Since
I like it. I like it. I was in talks with somebody about that.
Hey,
to tell you the truth.
Listen, I could see that.
Yeah, we got the specs on what it takes to build one. So, but only if my daughter can bowl at it before she's a senior. So
you gotta happen quick. We got like another year to make that
she's
happen.
a sophomore now. So we got a couple of years.
Yeah, right now. So before I let you go, I just want to ask real quick, last question. If you could speak to your younger self when you founded the fitness studio, right, in 2003, about your journey ahead, what would you say?
I love this question.
23 years ago, 22 years ago.
Yeah, 23 years ago. And it would be what I've discovered because, you know, I think when you first start a business and even years later, you know, you're freaking out because you don't have any business. And all of a sudden you have all this business and you're freaking out because you have all this business. You know, it's like, which side of the freak out are you on? And I think at this point it's, I've learned that, again, like I said earlier, it's never as bad as it seems. And it's never, you know, then you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch. I've gotten burned on that too. You know, so I would tell myself just, keep going, you know, treat people well, keep good culture. And that would lead to longevity and success. Great
advice for now too, right? Even for younger self. But I talk a lot about don't get too high on the high or too low on the lows. And you just got to stay even keel. And I think that's really the theme of everything you've talked about is know what's important to you, know your values and stick true to them and just keep going. When you feel like you hit your wall in the marathon, the triathlon, or business, just keep going.
Right. I'm sure you've asked a lot of people that question. What's been some of your favorite responses?
I haven't actually.
You haven't?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
No, these are custom questions for you, Christopher.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
I think that, you know, when I think about that question, what would you tell your younger self? I think the answer, if I think about just conversations I've had is largely like, just don't care what other people think and just do what you need to do for you and stay the course. And I think that's what I would say too, is like, don't listen to everybody else. Listen to what you want and the people that are important to you are telling you. And even those important people, you can only take so much, right? I talk about like my parents are my biggest supporters aside from my husband. I mean, they really are. And I'd say my kids maybe after them. No, they're awesome. I'm just kidding. But I think my parents weren't like encouraging me to go do my own thing. It was, that industrial age thought process.
No, you're right. Same.
Yeah.
My mom was you go to college so you can get a good job.
Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with that message. That's what they'd always been taught as well. And they put in their 30 years of teaching and they have a wonderful retirement and are doing great. But yeah, it's, to go out and do something on your own wasn't, the plan. I think to echo what you said, if anything in my 49 years on this earth, I've learned is to trust my gut because I sure didn't.
Yeah.
I always, didn't give in to instinct. I gave over to analyzation a lot. And, that can't be so. I feel that that's the way it's going to go, but I want to give benefit of the doubt. And I want to, and again, that long fuse ended up burning only me. So I trust my gut a lot more and lean into that.
Yeah, it's smart. I feel like that's probably one of my core strengths is to just be okay going with it. I use my husband a lot as a sounding board for that because he's very much like, I'll be like, oh, we're going to do this. And his question is always, how's that going to work? And I'm like, it just is. We're going to make it work. It's going to work. Yeah. My son is very much like that too. How's that going to work, Mom? It's just, it's going to work. I just know it. It's going to happen. But trusting your instinct there. And there's a balance between the two, right? Because you can't just always go with what your gut tells you if you're impulsive or, whatever. But I think you have to have a balance of both of those.
You're right about that.
Yeah. So do you have any marathons, triathlons coming up?
No. The last 5 years, we've done for Alzheimer's, raising money. We've done rim to rim to rim at the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
And just spiritual journey. If you've never been out there, it's amazing. But this past year, there was a fire out there and the North Rim Lodge burned down. I want to say it's 100 years old, but if not, it's close. Gosh. And this iconic place is so sad. It's not there anymore. And they had most of the main corridors shut down.
Wow.
So it didn't get to do that this year. And yesterday they had the drop for the Everesting, the 29029 challenge. Have you seen those with Jesse Itzler?
No.
So the, Everest they say is 29,000 feet.
Okay.
29 feet in the air. So they take ski resorts in the summer and there might be 2 miles up or so, and you need to climb it. Each one's different. If you're at Snowshoe or you're at Jackson Hole or whatever, that you might need to climb it 28 to 30 times to reach 29,000 feet.
Got it. Okay.
And then you get a 30-hour time limit to complete it. So I think they have 8 or 9 locations now, and they opened them up yesterday, and they sold out in 1 minute. So
you didn't get a chance to get in.
But now I'm going to start to leverage relationships to see if I can.
I think you can get it.
So that's my next challenge. I want to try that. But other than that, it's just trying to stay consistent with our weight vests that we talked about. My rucking and
you were doing it before it was cool.
Just doing something every day. Just some kind of activity every day.
I love it. I love it. Well, I can't wait to see what's next. I've been so grateful to just be a part of your journey on the sideline, watching it and experiencing it. And I have to say, for what you all do at Comfort Keepers is pretty powerful. And, I'm just going to be real honest here that the care and love that you have for the clients and I don't know if you call them clients, and your team has for them shows up. And that's the kind of place you want to send somebody that you love.
Yeah. I just feel like we have real purpose, serving seniors and veterans.
Yep.
I worked at a hedge fund for a little bit. And then, like I said, I did commercial real estate and I liked it. I didn't love it. And then I got to, serve seniors in my own community. I was like, okay, this is checking all my boxes. Yeah. All my boxes. So yeah, very, very blessed to be able to get to do this.
I love it. Can you tell everybody where to find you?
Comfortkeepers.com.
Okay.
And then, you can call one number and that'll ring all 4 of our brick and mortar locations all over Tennessee. So anywhere in Tennessee, we can serve seniors and veterans wherever they need help.
Awesome. And your gym?
It's called Personal Best Fitness. It's right in Brentwood. It's not a gym you can join anytime. It's personal training. We've got 8 personal trainers there, a dietitian and massage therapist.
Wow.
And we just like to make people cry all day.
I love it.
It's a good
happy
time.
tears, sad tears.
Yeah, that's right.
Fighting tears, all of it. Yeah. That's awesome. So well, I hope I get to have you back here. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for letting me pick your brain on things over the years. I appreciate you as a good business partner and confidant.
Yeah, you too. Right back at you.
Yeah, thank you.
Listeners, thanks for tuning in. If you found value in today's episode, please like, share, rate, comment, and subscribe.